Free cheating pass! Sitting in his pickup truck, Jason watched discreetly as the woman carried groceries from her minivan into the house. He was sure she wasn't even aware of his presence, or she would have looked in his direction, waved or something. She was in her early 30s, dressed in jeans and a t-shirt, as usual, with minimal makeup, and her shoulder-length brown hair, with blonde strands, was tied back in a ponytail. She had the look of an overbearing mom, devoted to her children and family. However, Jason knew that beneath that modest attire was a 5'7" 170 centimeter tall body, trim enough to be a bikini model. Her beautiful face, when she was wearing full makeup, was as sexy as any woman he'd ever met. Jason might have been biased since he had been married to Karen for 9 years. Friday was her day off, and she was running errands as usual so she could spend more time with their 3 children on the weekend. Karen had expected Jason to be at work, and if he hadn't gotten a call before lunch, he would have been there. Now he sat there dreading the upcoming conversation with his wife. He glanced at the manila envelope and decided to wait a few minutes. Let Karen put the groceries away and sit down before he took her by surprise. While he waited, Jason thought back to where he thought it all started. Damn Rhett and the bachelor party he had to throw 2 weeks before Jason and Karen's wedding. Of course, there had been a girl dancer there, and while Jason hadn't felt intoxicated, he had gone a little farther that night than he intended. After the girl made him lick the whipped cream off both of her large breasts, she unzipped his pants, to the cheers of everyone in attendance. She offered to let him finish in private and for free, but Jason politely declined. Somehow, Karen found out about this and became furious. In her opinion, this was already a bad thing. She realized that she had been cheated on. After a 15-minute altercation that turned into a screaming match, Karen took off her wedding ring and left. Jason tried calling her for days, but to no avail. He left message after message, apologizing and saying he loved her, but decided the wedding was off. 4 days later, Karen returned in the evening and ordered Jason to keep quiet. She said she was willing to overlook what had happened and eventually forgive him, but under certain conditions. The first condition was that if something like that happened again, she would leave him for good. The second condition, which she said was non-negotiable, was that to even the odds, she would get a free night as payback. Karen said she didn't know when or with whom, but Jason couldn't hold a grudge or guilt against her for leveling the playing field. Jason loved Karen so much and was so afraid that he had lost her forever that he agreed. She then asked if he wanted to know any details about her free pass. Jason replied that he didn't want to, because the realization that it was going to happen was already painful enough. Karen smiled and said that she would be very delicate when she made her decision and he wouldn't know anything about it, but it would happen at some point. Jason looked at the envelope and wondered if it was just her finally using her free pass. He really wanted to believe it, but a sick feeling told him it wasn't. Karen almost dropped her mug of tea when Jason walked into the kitchen. "Jason, you scared me. What are you doing home? Are you feeling sick, babe?" "Actually, I'm not feeling my best," Jason said. "Look, there's something that's been bothering me for a long, long time. I think it's finally gotten to the point where it's starting to affect me. I really need to talk about it." "Okay." Karen watched with a concerned look as Jason took a seat by the table. She remained standing but set the tea down. "Our agreement just before the wedding," Jason said. "I've changed my mind. I really need to know. Have you ever used your free pass, and if so, when?" Karen looked more ashamed than concerned and no longer looked at him. "Honey, we agreed never to talk about this." "No, you gave me a choice," Jason said. "Now I've changed it. I don't need to know the details, but please tell me if and when it happened. Living without knowing is a black cloud, and I think it has even affected our relationship." Karen sighed. "Okay, remember the promise not to take offense. It was during our honeymoon. I was with someone when you went fishing. Which one? I was gone 3 times on that trip, at least an hour or more each. Karen shrugged her shoulders. We'd arranged for a full night. Since it couldn't happen there because I was with you, I figured breaking it into 3 parts was the same thing. Since you didn't find out anything, I felt I was being cautious. I also made sure to use protective equipment and completely washed myself, especially for you. Jason started counting in his mind. If he started yelling, he wouldn't stop. He needed to keep his composure. He needed to keep it now more than ever. "I'm sorry it's been weighing on you," Karen said, and smiled weakly. "I thought you knew I'd get it over with right away, so I could focus on being a wife to you and then a mother to Carrie, Rochelle, and Gray." Jason reached for the envelope that was stuffed in the back of his jeans, under his shirt, and tossed it in front of Karen. Her eyes widened and seemed to begin to water as she opened the envelope. Inside were 5 pictures of her making love to Mark West, a co-worker who had started working with her only a month ago. "What an asshole," Karen muttered. "He wanted me to either dump you or stop making love to you. I told him it was just a one-time fling. I think it's his revenge for me choosing you over him." "You make it sound so noble," Jason said bitterly, "as if you could have lived happily ever after, but instead, you sacrificed love with a younger, healthier man to stay with me." "It's not like that at all," Karen said. "It's just that I love you, and it was just a horrible one-time mistake that meant nothing." "It didn't mean anything?" Jason said, and let out a chuckle. "I'll tell you what didn't mean anything. A guy at a bachelor party would have been with a girl for about 2 seconds. It didn't mean anything, but it was enough to make my wife think she had to sleep with another guy 3 times on our fucking honeymoon." "Jason," Karen said, crying. "For the record, these photos were taken by a private investigator hired by Camilla West, Mark's wife, who is 8 months pregnant and has a child under a year old. She had suspected for weeks that Mark was making love to someone and decided to find out exactly who. After hiring a lawyer, she reached out to me today." No, Karen said. "We did have lunch together or something, but it was a one-time affair, I promise." "I had no idea he was married, please." "But you knew he was married. What about your other promise? You know damn well that sleeping with some guy 3 times was beyond what we agreed on, and it was so damn unfair. Nothing I did justifies what you did. Or this. Look, I gave you a chance when you cheated," Karen pleaded. "You owe me the same. You get a free pass, 2 free passes. Don't tell me. Please, Jay. Think about our life together, the kids." Jason laughed. "I'm already well aware that it wasn't the first or second time you've been in a hotel room with him during lunch. You're right, though. I will do to you what you did to me. As far as I'm concerned, the second time you slept with someone on our honeymoon, you cheated on me. Don't deny that you didn't know that's what happened. I was stupid enough not to want to know, and you took advantage of the fact that you had a free pass. If memory serves me correctly, you said if it happened again, it was over between us." "Jason, no. Just because I still think you're a damn good mother, I'm not taking the kids or this house, but I'm divorcing you. Don't try to contact me until it's finalized," Jason said coldly. "Oh, if you make love to Mark or anyone else before it's finalized, I'll make sure you get nothing and that asshole pisses blood for a week." "Jay, please, I'm sorry," Karen sobbed. "No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't sleep with that girl at the bachelor party when she suggested it, because I got punished to the fullest anyway. I'm sorry that I agreed to an unfair arrangement that essentially resulted in you having no guilt about sleeping with other men. I know it wasn't the only case, but I chose to ignore the signs, partly because I didn't want to believe it and partly because of that stupid free pass. I'm sorry it took 9 years to realize what an immoral cheater you are." Jason grinned. "What I'm not sorry about is keeping in touch with your cousin, Raylene, who I know you hate. She found me on social media after I told you about how she flirted with me at your sister's wedding. Nothing much happened then, even though you made me spend the night on the couch, but something will happen tonight. I'll be sure to take some pictures and send them to you. Bye." Jason smiled as he left the house and listened to her sobs and pleas. He was happy that this unknown Skip was out of his life, and especially because he wasn't bluffing about sending those pictures. "The end!"